We do appreciate you. All right, guys. So the Eagles right now hold the number 10 and the number 30 overall pick in the 2023 NFL draft. No guarantees to hold on to both of those spots. They could trade down. They could trade up. There's a lot of different things that could happen here with that. But if we're prioritizing, and granted, this is hard to do because you don't know who's walking in free agency and whatnot. But Barrett, I'll start with you at 10. If they sit at 10, what are you looking at here? Player, position, what would be your course of action if you're the Eagles? Unmute first. That would be the first course of action.
There we go. I would go to Clemson. I like
Brisby, the
Miles
big boy?
Murphy.
Oh, Miles Murphy. Okay.
Another big guy, 6'5", 270 pounds, 260 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
The perfect 3-4 end. He's long, he's rangy, great pass rushing moves, has secondary moves, explosive, gets off the ball, and he's big enough that you can kick him down at the 3 technique if you have a 4 down. He could be another guy who could pass rush from the inside, and he could pass rush from the outside. He had 6.5 sacks the past couple years. Last year. He's just one of those guys, man. He's one of those guys you won't lose from his potential.
Mm-hmm.
He will steadily get better. He wants to be the best player out there, and I could see him going out there and really dominating, especially when he gets his NFL legs underneath him. Big size, plays long, plays aggressive, plays nasty. He wants success. He thrives for the thrill of hunting, you know what I'm saying, the quarterbacks. And he can play the run, gets penetration during the run, able to run stunts. He has everything. He's a total package. So I like Miles Murphy, defensive lineman from Clemson.
Okay. That's a good name. And I think it's a good way to go. I mean, it's interesting on the defensive line because, you know, if BG goes, do you look at an edge guy? If you lose all the tackles you may lose with Hargrave and Fletcher Cox, I think that's got to be a priority, even though you drafted
Joseph
Jordan
and
Davis
Sue.
last year.
Yes.
Yeah. And Sue and Joseph too. Yeah. You could really lose a lot at that position.
And he can play both.
Okay.
He can play both.
How about you, Gunnar? What would you target at 10 there?
It's still too early in my evaluation. There's too many players that are close that I like. I switch every day. But in terms of positioning, I want a cornerback first. First and foremost, I want a cornerback. Do you need to address the D-line with the possibility of all the players you could lose? Absolutely. But I've got to solidify, if we do keep Darius Slay, I've got to solidify that other side because Bradbury's not coming back. Now, at number 10, when you look at the way the draft is falling right now, we know Chicago's not taking a quarterback. Houston is. Arizona is not. Indy is. Denver is not. The Rams are not. Vegas is going to probably trade for a proven quarterback somewhere at number 7. Atlanta, they're going to go with the kid, you know, they have down there. Carolina needs a quarterback. That's going to leave the creme de la creme of cornerbacks sitting on the draft. I need the next Sauce Gardner. And with that said, nobody knew Sauce Gardner was going to be a shutdown cornerback like he was. We knew he was good, but we didn't know he was going to be like this. And there's got to be at least – you will have your pick of the cream of the crop of cornerbacks on that draft board at number 10. I need to solidify that spot, number 1. With that second pick, I may address the line there. But that first pick has got to be somebody I know I can plug and play him right now. And for me, it's that cornerback. I mean, they're going to lose linebackers. We talked about they already have 5 linebackers in-house to choose from. They're going to lose D tackles. We talked about they still have a nice rotation of D tackles already in-house. Even if they lose Brandon Graham, I'm okay, you know, at D tackle right now. I mean, DN right now. Mm-hmm. I'm not okay on the back end of my defense. In this pass-happy league, I need somebody that can go step for step and get physical if we want to with these premier wide receivers in the game. I need that cornerback first.
Yeah, I you know, they're in such an enviable spot at 10 with the desperate quarterback teams trying to move up who don't end up landing one of the big boys. You're right. I mean, that's really, I think, where you can where Howie's so great is like sniffing out them. I can target them. I can do something with them. And you may move down and you may know that so-and-so is still going to be there. And you're also gaining more picks. This is how you rebuild all this after losing all of this. That's why I know, like, it's very unsexy to move down, but they may move down, and it may really, really help them.
You know, if you move down from 10 to, let's say, to the high teens, low 20s, and if your target is still a corner, I don't want the third or fourth best corner on the draft. I want the consensus number one cornerback in that draft. When I look at all the so-called experts and the scouts talk about, you know, every time the draft prospects come out, they'll pick the top 10 in each like category and stack them. And if there's one guy that is consistently number one or number two in the conversation, I want one of those two guys. I don't want number 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 3 or 4 is a possibility. He may be good as 1 or 2. But based on all the scouting and all the tests and all this stuff, this dude is the creme de la creme. That's the guy I want.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah. It's not often you get to pick that high when you have a good team. I need to take advantage of this now.
Yeah.
There's 3 guys right now that everybody's talking about. That's the kid from Penn State, the kid from Illinois, and the kid from
Porter,
Witherspoon,
and Gonzalez.
Yep. Looking at film at I've broken down film on Gonzalez, and I've broken down film on Porter. I kind of like Gonzalez a little more than I like Porter. Just how fluid he is, how his hips move, his size. He's 6 foot 2, 200 pounds. Porter's, I mean, he's right there tit for tat with him. He's 6'2", 190 pounds. Both of them play at a high level. I like both of them, man. So I really can't figure out who I would want between the two of them. I think right now Gonzalez is a little more complete because he's so big. He's a lot bigger than he is, a thicker guy. Not afraid to come up and make a hit. Only thing that separates the two really is I think Porter gets a little bit too touchy-feely.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He gets a lot of holding calls. But, man, that kid is good. He's with you step for step.
He plays with stones, man.
Yeah, he does. You know what I'm saying? Like
no fear.
Like that's what I'm saying. He puts his hands on people, and he likes to he has no problem with riding the guy out and you know, making plays. So I love that competitive aspect on both of the guys. I think Gonzalez just may be a little bit more refined in his cover skills.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? A little bit more refined. But Joey, man, that's not saying much between the two of them. You know what I mean?
He's going to come in prepared as a pro from what he's seen his whole life with his dad.
Right.
You know, I don't think he's going to be overwhelmed by anything.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Look at how high where Asante Samuel Jr., Patrick Surtain went in the draft. Look at what they've become. You trust them on any side of the field.
Yep.
That's what I need right now. First and foremost, we don't know. Now, we assume that CJ is the number one priority. CJ may get a better offer somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, the Eagles are only going to bid so much. Think about it. Every year, somebody's getting stupid money out there. Did you think Christian Kirk was going to get $72 million
No.
as a receiver?
No.
Somebody's going to offer CJ some what I categorize stupid money. You know, and we're not even we have no idea who it is right now. But when you look at the teams that have cap space and will have even more cap space before they get to free agency, you know, somebody may push the Eagles beyond their bargaining point. Okay, so I got to address, if I'm going to lose a premier cornerback in Bradbury, possibly a premier safety in CJ, now I'm rebuilding a lot more. We don't know if Epps is going to come back. Now, Epps says he wants to be here. You know what? Every player says that until you start dangling the carrot in front of them.
Well,
so you know what I mean?
Well, you know, the reason why I said go with Miles is more so because we know Howie. Mm-hmm. We know how this organization operates. You know, they're going to take care of the trenches, and they could give a damn about anything else but the trenches.
Right.
That's why I went with that pick, understanding how Howie and those guys go out and pick their first round draft picks. They're not scared to go out there and get somebody in the first round that's in the trenches. So that's why I said it. Me personally,
right,
where I would go corner, just like you said. I would go corner.
I don't like, and this isn't even just the Eagles. I know some organizations feel like how corner should be right there with defensive end, with
right. They're paid accordingly
with with how much teams pass now.
Yep.
especially if this team's losing Bradbury. Like, why wouldn't you, if you feel like they're the best player on the board, why wouldn't you grab a corner at 10? I don't get that.
Well, Rob, put it like this. So this is the first year that I didn't eat Tums like they were M&Ms on third down.
Why are you eating Tums?
Because every time I watched them on third down, when they had guys out there that would just get beat, I would my stomach would be in knots on third down, man, because I knew that they didn't have upper echelon corners. This year, I was able to enjoy third down.
Right.
Because they had corners that could cover.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was a luxury. I hadn't felt that since Asante Samuels left. So, you know, there's something to that, Derek. There's something to that, man. Having a shutdown corner when you don't have to worry about one side of the field. It's not, you know, it's
That's right.
I can go out there and all right, I'm not worried about CD Lamb throughout the game because I know I got Porter Jr. out there, or I know I got Gonzalez out there, or Witherspoon out there. That's a luxury we have not had in so long, man. So long. So I enjoyed having that luxury this year.
Look at how physical the Chargers and Denver secondary play.
Yep.
They're like professional thugs, man. Even Kansas City's young dudes, they go out there and battle. They know they're going to get beat, but they're going to battle you. You're going to play 60 minutes of football against them. And that's what you need to do. You know, you need to get that next corner. Now, I like your breakdown of the two cornerbacks that you were talking about with Porter and Gonzalez. Witherspoon, from the early evaluations, is the best man-to-man cover corner in the draft. And he played a lot of games. See,
he's so, man, just a little film I watched him.
Yeah.
He's so daggone intense, too.
Yes.
He comes up and makes plays, man. He is an aggressive style corner, get up in your face. He's not as good as athlete as those guys guys that, you know, I just talked about.
Right.
He may be a little bit athletically challenged than those two, but man, you're talking about a guy that doesn't care. And they played a lot of man-to-man.
Yep, in Illinois.
Illinois, a lot of man-to-man. You know, that's one of Lovie Smith's guys. You know, so I like him. I like him too, but I think the other two are better suited to play any type of defense you want, man.
Any one of those three names has to be a priority for me at number 10 if we stay at number 10. I hope they do not move back trying to garner more picks, because that player at 10 has to be an impact player.
Stop, Derek.
Has to be.
Stop,
it has
Derek.
to be.
Stop, Derek.
Barry has to be.
You know who you're dealing with, man.
Tally, man. He's not just going to he will not sit there and pick at 10 and 30. There's no chance.
You tried, though. You try to sit back there. You try to say that he's not going to do it, but you know how he's going to do it, man. He's going to be so anxious because of rounds 4, 5, and 6. He's going to be so anxious, right?
Look at how many cornerbacks went off the board in the first round last year.
I know. They went quick, didn't they?
See? It was like a run on them, quick.
Yes.
I don't want to see the Eagles waiting there. Okay, number 1 is gone. Number 2 is gone. Okay, we're down to our 4th or 5 picks at cornerback. I want to be able to say, I got my choice. When you look at the way the draft is stacked, you know what I'm saying? I got my choice in the top 3.
Yep.
Which one do I want?
I agree. Look, I agree with that, Derek. I'm just saying track record shows something else.
I know.
For sure. But here's the thing. Like, this is why it's really hard at 30, because you don't know what players are going to be off of the Eagles roster to know who to grab up there right now. We just don't know. It's really hard to project. Yeah.
Well,
you can look at just best available. Look, here's the thing, I think the concentration of the draft is going to be on defense.
Yes.
Offensively, what you may see is either a running back a little bit later, maybe a number 3 receiver a little bit later, or an offensive lineman. If Sayamalu moves on and you don't really love some of your depth that you have on the offensive line, that could be another direction they go.
I'm going to tell you the truth. If the Eagles pick at number 10, I truly believe they pick at number 10, then they're going to 30. If Bijan Robinson is on the and he probably won't be, but if he is on the board, I can almost guarantee you they're going to take Bijan Robinson.
In the first round?
Yes, in the first round.
Running back in the first round. Ooh.
And number 30. And that's close. That's close to the second round. But they could that could be justified, because I heard, I was watching on the stream a couple guys saying that's Miles. No, that's not Miles Sanders. That's a different beast you have right there. That guy, you can line up him out there. You can line him out at wide receiver, and he can run routes like a wide receiver. He can catch, the long ball down the field. He's a different type of player. He may be a generational type of running back in the league. He might be an Alvin Kamara-esque type of player. You know what I mean? So I can definitely see that.
Man, I love him, Barrett. I just don't see them taking a running back in the first round, but I love him.
Think about the predicament they could be in if Boston Scott walks.
Well, he is going to walk.
Well, no. Boston Scott is one of those guys. I'm just happy to be in the league. Boston Scott is not going to be a bank breaker.
Bruh.
As a specialty back.
Let me tell you why he's going to be really, really received favorably in the market. Number one, he was 1,000-yard back last year. With all the success they had at the receiver position, 2,000-yard receivers, a quarterback that ran like a running back, he still was able to carve out 1,000 yards. So teams were like, Scott. Oh, but listen. But then you also got to look at this. He hasn't had the wear and tear that Ezekiel Elliott had, Saquon Barkley had. He had over 200 carries this year, but that's the most he's ever had. So he has less tread on it. He has more tread on his tires than everybody else. He has played less football than anybody else, and he changed his running style this year that he's more productive. So he will be, people will look at him like, all right, this guy still has some bang. You look at Zeke right now, everybody's saying he has nothing left in the tank. Miles Sanders has a hell of a lot more in the tank than guys that played and got drafted.
I would agree with that.
Just like he got drafted in the same round.
Let's hold that thought. Let's come back and let's get EJ Smith's take on everything we've been discussing, what they might do at number 10, number 30, the coordinator searches. We know Vance Joseph's
college football. I love it, baby.
I know. Right in you got spring games coming up soon, man.
Yeah,
we know that.
Yeah.
All right, let's get a quickie in. We'll talk to EJ when we come back. Don't go anywhere. EJ Smith from the Inquirer. That's Derek Gunn. That's Barrett Brooks. I am Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. I'm going to tell you right now about Pro Action Restoration. Pro Action Restoration is the place that you reach out to if your home, a business, a property you may own goes through the inconvenience and the pain of fire, smoke, mold damage, you name it. Pro Action Restoration can handle it. They're on call 24 hours, 7 days a week to assist. I can tell you, I reached out on a Saturday. They got right out there. They cleaned up the problem. They fixed it. The crew was professional. The price was right. Pro Action Restoration is licensed, bonded, and fully insured, and they've been serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades. They will also work in conjunction with your insurance company as well. So listen, water, fire, smoke, mold damage, you know how difficult that can be. They make it easier. All right, give them a call, 610-623-3760, 610-623-3760, or online at proactionrestoration.com. That's